Hello beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel. I'm really happy you're here. So this week the question is, what lesson is your current or past partner activating? So we're doing this in the light of a divine union, which is this card, which is like the hat over which this reading is happening. And so we have card A is your current partner and card B is your past partner. And we shall leave it at that for this week. So card A, current partner, card B, past partner, and the spritzer for this week is the silver spritzer, which, as you know, I'm gonna spray my hands with. Rub my hands until the alcohol dissipates. Breathe it in and then fluff my aura. You can't see me do it. Maybe one day I'll do it on screen. So this spritzer will bring in like clarity. It's a clarifying energy, and it cuts through resistance and falsity, and so it gently brings us back to truth. It also is something about moon energy, so alchemical, it can help release overthinking and mind-based stress, and it helps us transmuting all that we're ready to change right now. So if there's anything that you're ready to let go of, this is a great one in, and I'm sending all that energy into the field. It's also very helpful in clearing ancestral beliefs and inherited behaviors. So I'm assuming that that's a lot of what's going to come through today, and that will be able to transmute through the field. It will also help us connect very deeply with any wisdom that's ready to emerge from within. And it also helps with deep connection with animals. So we're putting all of that into the field as we try and get some answers about your current partnership or your past partnership. Welcome, pile A. This is your card if you chose pile A, which is about your current partnership. I didn't start with past, I started with current this week. So forgiveness, you're obviously learning forgiveness with your current partnership. Yes, sayana uyane eyana ushiyana na 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 yana na na yana na na na. So there's a lot in this card about things that are still deep within you that need to surface, and for you to allow them to surface so that they can be transmuted. And I'm going to say things that are related to this relationship, but they're also not related to this relationship. So you're using this relationship as a mirror to see where you haven't forgiven the inner partnership, because as so within, so without. So wherever you haven't forgiven yourself, first and foremost, and then as an extension, any past relationships. So that's what the current one is teaching you. Let's see if we can get a little bit more information. Okay, so the second card I got for this pack is the forgiveness around prosperity. So if your current partner isn't as wealthy or prosperous, or you chose somebody who isn't as, I'm going to say, as abundant as you expected them to be, or maybe they're not living the abundance that you can see, but they haven't tapped into it. This is your pile. And so you're forgiving yourself. So in a way, if you want, you're projecting that need onto your partner when it's actually in your relationship with yourself that you should be looking at this. So in your relationship with yourself, you have given up, sacrifice, and in a way disempowered yourself by handing it over to a partner. So you've literally projected it onto your partner. And so the forgiveness comes with yourself, to yourself first, about not being able to be the most prosperous and abundant person you know that you can be. And so this is not about blame. This is not about finger pointing. This is not made to make you feel guilty. This is just awareness of energy. Kanaya te uete ushikiti auete nekeshi akachi uashe kashiniya shaya kashi uesi kiki kawatene. So it's about you reclaiming your relationship to prosperity within. So whoever the partner is that you're projecting on, you know, ultimately you have to come back to you and your prosperity. This feels like very young inner child stuff. I would go back to where you felt that you lost contact with your own prosperity and abundance template. And then allowing these new soul templates to upgrade you. Kashia kawata sikatana kashi awati I kashita ayana. Let's get another 2 cards to get a sense of what would really help. So flowing river, we're talking about flow. We're talking about allowing flow back in. So one of the pointers or one of the direction is where, when and how do you cut yourself off from your flow? So I'm going to push you straight back to forgiveness. When we're unforgiving and we kind of create these mountains, these blocks that prevent us from accessing our flow, where you can't forgive yourself maybe for making a wrong choice about this partner, where you can't forget yourself for maybe choices that you made, where you're unable to forgive yourself and others. That's kind of where you prevent your own blocks and your own flow. Remember, abundance is just energy, right? Everything is just energy ultimately. So it's like, where can you go back to where your flows stopped? Where did you flow you stop, and what stopped the flow? And a lot of the time you'll find that it's either anger or grief or something that's crystallized in your body and that can't move. So you want to be thinking about getting that moving, getting in touch with it. Inner child work, I think, because what I'm seeing for some of these people is actually teenage, like I'm thinking 14, 15, 16-year-old, where a lot of this got crystallized. So it's I would personally do some kind of a forgiveness ritual, and create some kind of an altar, forgiveness altar, and do a whole ritual around what it is that you need to heal, and then, you know, the different ways you can do that. Let's see if there's a flower essence that would like to come in and give you some more information. Flower essence would really help bring forth the forgiveness and the return back to flow. Okay, I feel cool to using this one. So pretty. Look how pretty it is. Oh, the colors. Red clover. So you could probably find an essential oil too. Empathy. You are invincible. Red clover helps us put ourselves in others' shoes, feel their emotions but not be affected by them. When we are less influenced by external balances and chaos, we're able to practice fierce compassion. So this red clover flower essence, and you can go to Lotus Way and get them, or you can just buy them online wherever you feel called to. This calls for empathy, compassion, fierce compassion. And so, you know, maybe it's about understanding what happened and having compassion for yourself back then, and that you didn't know any better. You know, we often judge ourselves for something that happened when we were younger, when we weren't even tooled up or skilled up or have an understanding of the world. You know, you would of course make a different decision right now, but at the time you did the best you could. So this is definitely a helper, red clover, and I think it would be a really good one to work with, because it will help you connect with that place that's so hard often to get to. It kind of opens the way for you. It opens like a vault that you can go into to access that part of yourself that needs so much empathy and compassion. Let's get a couple of tea leaf. What would help us, and maybe one more help or one more information about the situation, and then an outcome. Okay, so what more do we need to understand to get help? Sorry, these are... Okay. Get the caterpillar card. Things will not always be this way. A change is coming. So that's super encouraging. And let's see, what else? What's the outcome? Protection from a powerful friend. So if you have been arguing with your current partner about money and being angry with them about not giving them the lifestyle that you expect, you remember this is about claiming back your own power so that you could get back into divine union with yourself about this issue. like you need to forgive yourself, you need to forgive somebody from your youth. And look, the outcome is a change is coming, and you know, the caterpillar is going to become a butterfly. You have the red clover as an ally, and you have the dog who can also help you. But I suggested to get back into the flow of things, to do some kind of a forgiveness ritual. And you can look online and see what they suggest, but I think the best thing is always to come up with your own. You know, how does your inner child want to create this? If you were to ask a child around you, hey, I need to do a forgiveness ritual. I need to forgive myself and I need to forgive somebody. Can you help me create one? I think you find that the child is actually really creative and really in the flow. So I hope this helps. And I'm sending you lots of beautiful, flowy forgiveness this week. And until next week, have a beautiful week. Hello, this is your pile if you chose pile B. So this is about your past partnerships and it's about cooperation. The card that you got is about cooperation. So your past relationship was teaching you about cooperation, collaboration, the co's, what I call the co's. Kaya na wane kashikaru uti, asana kashi uti. Ashana karu ishi ana asha. So there's a lot of competition. So this is usually when I know when this card shows up that this is about competition. You've been competing with your former partnership, in your former partnership, and so competition keeps you separate and it creates a lot of fear because competition is fear-based. And so it was trying to teach you to get beyond the fear to like real collaboration. What would that feel like? What would that be if you were to bring that in? Cooperation, and how might your life change? I will put a link in the YouTube description of a blog I wrote about you are not meant to build all this on your own. And I think this is really the essence of this. You know, when we collaborate, we're building something. And the more people can mix their energies, the better, the bigger it can become and the more powerful it can become. So this is about encouraging you to move from me to we. And yeah, to really kind of bring this divine union energy into a collaboration and to see it through that lens. So if that relationship left you really bad taste, well, it's probably because you were both trying to learn cooperation and one of you wasn't willing to, was still very competitive. And there's, you know, because competition is fear-based, but it means, you know, that somebody's going to lose something. And so it's kind of very profound. And it's also based on scarcity. It means that there isn't enough room for everybody. So it is very, very fear-based. We have more information about what this particular competition issue was around. Magnetize. Ashiwa takashana uese kayati ayene uishi ayene yaya kushi kayane e ue. So this is the card of being, you know, so magnetic that things come to you. And it could be that, see, the sense I'm getting is a sense of jealousy that either you or the partner was more magnetic. And that created jealousy and tension, like the world came to them but didn't come to you. And that brought up, there's a lot of jealousy in this energy, I have to say this. And so it is a call to examine the jealousy. And that's all fear-based and scarcity-based. Because it's kind of also preventing you from being magnetic. Like this fear, it's kind of repulsive to anything. It's the opposite of magnetic, really. You know, because when you're magnetic, you just pull things into you. It's like they match your frequency. Whereas the frequency that's emitted when you're in competition is a fear-based one. So it's kind of repulsive. So you need to think in this past relationship where you were pushing away your own magnetism, where you were allowing somebody else to do it for you. And you'll find that it's probably a bit of both because you mirror. There'll be places where you were more magnetic and vice versa. And so the whole idea of being in collaboration is that when we are both magnetic in different parts or different places, then, you know, we get to be magnetic in both, because through the divine union piece. Okay, so let's get a card to understand what would help move through this. What understanding would help move through this? Okay, Spirit. Let's grab this one. Elder. The card of the Elder. I think what's interesting about this card in the light of this is that, you know, Elder is all about leadership, right? The elders, they have nothing to prove. They're in their power, they're in their truth, and that's kind of what makes them very magnetic. It's taking a stand in life, you know, and carrying and embodying and expressing your deep inner wisdom. This is the card of the Elder, is about being a teacher and a leader. So it's like, with regards to this situation, you need to lead, and you need to show people how it's done. And so, you know, speak your truth, you know, and also I'm going to say, look at yourself and don't spiritually bypass, you know, where you might still be in competition and be very scarcity based, and where you're very jealous. Remember that jealousy is showing you your next step. And so just honor that and see it as information, as opposed to projecting it on somebody else and being, and then, you know, falling into this fear-based. And also it means, you know, supporting Elder, the leadership piece, means you support other people. And this is when you can really get into cooperation. So if you need to make amends with this person, or you need to support them in some way, and, you know, remember, this is the divine union piece. If you're not doing it within, you're not doing it without. So they're just mirroring what's not happening within this divine union piece, where you're not in cooperation with your divine counterpart. So whether it's divine feminine or divine masculine, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You know, you're not allowing both sides to be magnetic and to shine in their own way, because of all this jealousy and fear base. So look at that. Let's see if there's an essence that would help with this. Like, help would give you some clarity. What would help really connect to this magnetic cooperation? We have the Night looming Sirius. Sirius, I don't know how to say it. Activate fearlessness. You just talked about fear. Take the leap. Are you yearning to make a huge leap in your personal growth? So this is a really good one to help you dissolve subconscious limitations and to elevate yourself in a big way. It'll give you courage, a deeper understanding of your shadow side, and how to expand and understand your true gifts. So it's a very, very cool one. Look at the flower. And they only bloom at night, I think. Okay. Finally, let's get you a couple of tea leaves. So is there anything else that we need to understand about this situation? Pay attention to your work. So maybe, you know, this is really spilling out into your work life, where you're not allowing yourself to collaborate and have help because you're so scared that somebody might steal your ideas or take your ideas. And so you're not really willing, you don't believe you can enter into a true cooperation or true collaboration. So something to think about. And okay, and what is the outcome of this resolution, of this? Oh, look at this, you get the leg up. I had last week's reading was a leg up. Stepping into a new experience. So, you know, by embracing this cooperation, you're stepping into a whole new experience, probably of yourself, but also of what union means within and without. That sounds beautiful and sounds super empowering, because, you know, if you can't accept this, it feels like your whole growth is limited. This is a really big piece for you to get to be able to really grow in the way that you've been really dreaming about growing and being impactful. And you're so limited by your jealousy, and you're so limited by, your fears, this fear-based, conditioning that makes you feel like there isn't enough room for you, that you have to really, you know, it's you or somebody else. So I think those ones are ready to go. And I think, And if you feel called to my TaA GeE aAwaAh Bond course is about updating the soul template around relating to others. And so that could be a great leg up too. So just putting that there in case you are interested. And I will put the link underneath in the description too. So I'm sending you big blessings for this week. I call in collaboration, magnetic collaboration, so that you can experience this divine union with yourself. And leadership, of course. Have a beautiful week, and until next time, namaste.